News Talk 640 WFNC. I got a crowd in the house tonight. I'm turning that microphone down right there. I got the whole crowd here. I got the whole world in my hand. And ladies, how are you doing today?
Great.
Good.
Hope you are.
I'm doing well. KAYLA McAuliffe.
Yep.
And CHRISTY Barber, both with Animal Services here in Cumberland County. And it's good to have you here. CHRISTY, we're going to start with you because we got some animal adoption stuff that we'd like to talk about.
Okay. That's more Kayla's department.
All right, but then we'll start. We'll share it.
We'll share it.
We'll talk to hers. What is your part of the deal?
What's my part of the deal?
Yes.
I work in enforcement.
Okay.
I work in enforcement, so a lot of the animals come through our section. We're the ones that enforce the ordinances for running at large, making sure rabies shots are current. We do the bite investigations, the animal-on-animal reports.
It's sad that people are not adhering to the fact that we have leash laws and things like that. And then you have animals that are tethered in for extended period of times. Right. Give me a sense of some of are things changing? Are people getting better?
No, they're not. And a lot of it is education. And that's why we're trying to reach out and just educate people to be better pet owners. And so their animals can be good citizens of the community also. A lot of it, like especially this time of year with the heat, people don't realize that dogs cannot sweat. That's why they pant. And I always tell people when I do community watch meetings, please leave Fluffy at home. She does not need to go to Walmart with you or CVS or anything like that, because what feels comfortable to us couldn't be for them. And your vehicle usually runs 15 to 20 degrees hotter than what it actually is outside.
Well, and it's unfortunate. I see animals all the time at different places that I know are not service dogs.
Right.
Okay? But you don't, it's one of those things like you see somebody parking in a handicap spot and you're not going to walk up and say, well, you look fine. What's your handicap? You don't do that.
Right, right.
And the same thing is true, I guess, with service dogs. And you don't want to walk up on somebody and say, I know that's not a service dog. You got a little poochie and the kind of thing. But there are specific requirements in terms of making sure that you as an individual, that you have the documentation you have. I don't know if it's a red thing that the animal wears or whatever it might be. Does the county enforce it a certain way, or is that a state regulation, or how does that work?
We do not enforce it because usually if people tell us it's their service dog, then we have to go with it. We will ask to see a current rabies vaccine, though, because under North Carolina general statute, any cat, dog, or ferret in the state has to be vaccinated against rabies. So that is something that we can ask. And then usually if they say, no, I don't have it, well, then you really don't have a service dog.
So that's right, because you have to have that in order.
You have to have it, yeah.
Right, in order to have it.
Yeah, it has to be current, yeah.
All right, KAYLA, you're the expert here on the adoption things. Is there a program coming up, something special going on?
I think in the future, very near future, we should have another event. We just had our free adoption event last week that ended on Saturday. It was pretty successful, and that was one where the county did show out and got a lot of the free kennel spaces for us, which is always needed.
Yeah, how does it work in terms of the adoption fees and everything? Sometimes those fees get waived, or how does that all work?
Yeah, so for last week, it was waived completely, so they still were able to get the microchip, rabies, first rounds of shots. The animals were already spayed and neutered, but we waived the entire adoption fee.
I just did a story on Harnett County. I'm not going to beat anybody down on this, but it's sad to see some of the alleged violations where animals are given the euthanasia injection straight in the heart, and they're not unconscious, which is painful for the animal. And I was just really blown away by the fact that they're accused of getting the pets and not checking for a microchip before they decide to kill. How does
That's
that?
awful.
So how is that supposed to work?
Typically, when it comes to drop off at the shelter, we always will scan for a microchip when it comes in through us, and then also the shelter attendants are going to scan in the back. I'm not sure how you guys do it in the field.
But I mean, it's pretty obvious why that is, and explain the importance of that, of scanning for the microchip before we decide to kill an animal.
To find the owner, because it could be something and I've had several of them that have been hit by a car. They might not be wearing a tag with identification on them, but if you scan it, and even though you scan it like when you first bring them in, that scanner might not pick up the chip, or you might not be putting it in the right spot. Yeah. But any and every time I've ever had one that I've actually had to personally euthanize, before I do it, I scan that animal completely. I mean, I scan everything. I mean, even birds I've had to do.
Where's the chip normally put?
It's usually between their shoulder blades, but they can migrate all over their body. So you're supposed to scan head to tail, both sides, underneath, the top. I mean, you just cover the whole body with the scanner. Yeah,
and we hear, sad stories, but there are some really exciting, nice stories where the scan is found. The animal, for example, may have run away and ends up in a couple of counties away, and all of a sudden, hey, this belongs to this person who lives in Fayetteville. Let's give them a call. And they make a beeline here to pick up Miss Fluffy or whatever the dog's name is. Yeah. Have you either of you experienced anything like that where you've had a person come back?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Tell me about
it. Sure did. We had one that the sheriff's office actually did a search warrant on the house. And we went in, removed all the animals, got back to the shelter, scanned everybody to see, do they actually belong to said person. And come to find out, this one particular dog had a completely different name and number on it, which, I mean, people switch animals, give them away for whatever reason. New owner doesn't update the information. But this particular animal had been reported stolen. And when we called the microchip company, the microchip company let us know, hey, the owners have reported this dog stolen a few years ago. And so then we called the owner, and she just sobbed. I mean, she said, I cannot believe you actually found my dog. And the dog had actually been stolen several years ago. And she was reunited with her dog.
I mean, there's just heartwarming stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, did the animal remember? Does memory go that way, or does it kind of change? You got to reacquaint yourself, I guess.
Unfortunately, I'm usually not there for the bonding back, because we all have different sections that we do, and like I have to be on the road and help my people out that way, or either we work shift work, so there's days that I'm off. So I've never actually seen, the reuniting of an owner and an animal.
How much for you, Kayla? Memory of some?
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime I'm working in drop-off, usually that is where the reunification would happen. So we do see animals reunited, and it's always a good thing. And there are times where an animal's missing for months, and from what I've seen, the animal does remember their owner.
Well, that's not too surprising. I guess it's either smell or scent or voice or something like that.
Yep.
That it's like, I found my child.
Yep.
Who just happens to be 10 years old. I've missed him for 8 years. Yeah, that'd be I've got some I wish I could know. That's a different story. So you got your programs going on. When is Clear the Shelter? Is that already over? Is that coming up, or did we pass that?
It should be coming up. Hopefully within, I would say it's either this month or next month. I would always recommend following our Facebook page. They're pretty active on the Cumberland County Animal Services Facebook page. Any events, even if it's a free adoption event, it'll be posted on there. So that's the best place to see the events that are upcoming.
Now, how are we doing here in Cumberland County in terms of staffing and all that? Because that's been an issue for some time, and it's a thankless job. But you have to have some training. You just can't just find anyone to just go out there. How are we doing staffing wise?
Right now we're pretty short.
Yeah.
And right now the shelter is being affected through injuries, sickness. I mean, there's always somebody sick. I mean, I say we're like a daycare. One person gets it, it runs through the whole crowd. Yep. And now it's summertime, vacation coming up. We can't deny people vacation because they've worked, so hard. All of our slots are still not filled at this time, but we are working, to find the right candidate to come in, because a lot of people think, animal control, y'all get to play with puppies and kittens all day.
No, that's not.
No, you get to see the actual hard part of life, on the human side and the animal side.
The folks who are funding you. That's the county, I believe, provides the funding.
Yes.
Sometimes they got to take a hard look at that in terms of providing enough pay. And we had a conflict with the former director out there who wanted to make sure that the staff was taken care of, and the county was really looking at this. You see, the issue that I don't think people realize is you're doing what you do, and if it's not done right, you end up with allegations like we have in Harnett County.
All right.
And again, they're allegations. I'm sure they have a chance to appeal. I think they got 60 days to pay the fine or appeal is the way the story broke out. But we don't want to get to that point.
Right.
We got to do the right thing and provide the right resources and everything in order to make sure that we do the best we can to take care of the animals that are here. And, you know, the other part of this is the fact that we have a pretty transient community. That impacts your thing. Tell us how that works, because you have soldiers who all of a sudden getting PCS and, you know, have a permanent change. They can't take the dog with them. They're going overseas. Talk about that and how that impacts your operation.
It hits us pretty hard. Because the demographics of this county is just from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
And that's where the education comes in that. Just like with the military, if they're PCS and are deploying, there's actually a program that I've been working with. It's called Dogs on Deployment. And they will actually help find foster care for their pet. And help try, if they, you know, do want to surrender the animal to them, you know, they do work with them and try and find an appropriate home for them. So that they're a really good resource that we use, and just try and get people that are PCS and to use them.
I think the thing that everybody has to realize is the fact that you're not a no-kill shelter.
Right.
FABS is, but you are limited to the space that you have.
Right.
And you have more animals coming in, and then decisions have to be made. Now, you work with the Fayetteville Animal Protection Society. I think they come in and, I don't know, rescue or get some of the dogs and hold them over and do what they do on Bragg Boulevard. But the reality is there's a whole lot of animals, and there's a limited amount of space. And time is of the essence.
Yes.
And so if you went to the Fayetteville Animal Protection Society, we have them in. Beppy Smith comes in on Thursdays. They pay for spade neutering. They do all those things. You know, you have to pay a couple $100 to get your dog, but you're going to get a dog with chip, everything, all the stuff that would cost you an awful lot more if you had to do it on your own.
100%, yeah.
Right. In terms of adopting from the animal shelter here in Cumberland County, how does that work?
So for adoptions here, all dogs are available for adoption for $100. That's a flat fee that covers their spay, neuter, microchip, rabies, and their first rounds of shots. And then the cats are a flat fee of $70, and that includes that as well for them. So in reality, it's a very good price for that.
You know, and excuse me, I got called for a second here.
You're fine.
We can't leave out the fact that you got cats over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's kitten season, and we're not even halfway through kitten season right now, so.
Well, KAYLA and Christy, we appreciate you coming in. You know, every week Cumberland County has different folks coming in talking about different aspects of what's going on in the county. We appreciate the work you do for animals.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, you're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. We've got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast right now with CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
After a cool start to our Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon we'll have sunny skies and a high of 86. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low of 56, and Thursday will be mostly sunny with a high of 88. Temperatures are already starting to heat up, and we expect high temperatures in the 90s this weekend with no rain until early next week. That is your Fayetteville forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
Rachel, thank you. Right now, 100 degrees. No, that's not true. 64 degrees. Going to be a nice day to get out to the golf course. Plenty of sunshine for you. 66 degrees in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also in Crays Creek. You're listening to News Talk 640. We're WFNC.